Meow, my friends. It seems the US has finally decided to play sanctions bingo with Sudan's military brass. Today's lucky winner, none other than General Abdel Fattah al-Burhan, the man who thought, you know what this civil war needs? A dash of chemical weapons. Yes, you heard that right. The US Treasury, in its infinite wisdom, has slapped sanctions on al-Burhan faster than you can say crimes against humanity. Why, you ask? Well, it turns out using chlorine gas against your enemies is frowned upon in polite society. Who knew? Our dear general has been caught red-handed, with at least 2 confirmed instances of chemical weapon use against the Rapid Support Forces. It's like he's playing a twisted game of spice up your war crimes, and chlorine gas is his secret ingredient. But let's not forget, this isn't Burhan's first rodeo in the How to Be a Terrible Leader Olympics. Since leading the military coup in 2021, he's been racking up quite the resume. Indiscriminate bombings, starvation as a weapon, and meow chemical warfare. It's like he's collecting war crimes like they're Pokemon cards. And speaking of collecting things, let's talk numbers, because nothing says humanitarian crisis quite like cold hard statistics. Over 150,000 casualties, 11 million displaced. That's not just a crisis, my friends. That's a catastrophe of biblical proportions. It's like Burhan looked at the Geneva Convention and thought, challenge accepted. But wait, there's more. The US isn't just wagging its finger at Burhan. They've also put the squeeze on his partner in crime, Mohammad Hamdan Daglo, aka Hemedti. It's like watching a deadly game of King of the Hill, except the hill is made of human suffering and the players are armed with chemical weapons. As US Secretary of State Antony Blinken so eloquently put it, these two are unfit to govern a future peaceful Sudan. Well, no kidding, Sherlock. What gave it away? The chemical weapons or the mass starvation? And let's not forget the star of our show, the defence industry system. This little procurement arm of the SAF has been working overtime to keep the party going. Sanctions? Who cares? They're like the Amazon of war crimes, finding creative ways to deliver death and destruction right to your doorstep. And their star employee, Ahmad Abdallah, has been busy coordinating arms deals faster than you can say violation of international law. But here's the kicker, my friends. Burhan, in all his infinite wisdom, welcomed the sanctions. That's right, he said, and I quote, "We welcome any sanctions for serving this country." Serving it what exactly? A heaping plate of misery with a side of war crimes? It's like someone welcoming a root canal with a rusty drill. You've got to question their sanity or their pain threshold. Meow, if you're as baffled by this situation as I am, hit that subscribe button. Together, we can navigate this geopolitical circus with a laugh and maybe learn something along the way. But let's zoom out for a moment, shall we? This isn't just about Sudan. It's about the world we live in. A world where leaders can use chemical weapons and still strut around like they're the good guys. A world where 11 million people can be displaced and it's just another Tuesday. It's enough to make you want to curl up in a cardboard box and never come out. And here's a little tidbit that will really ruffle your fur. While Burhan and Hemedti are playing their twisted game of who can commit the most war crimes, in Khartoum and Darfur, the rest of Sudan is quite literally starving. Over 25 million Sudanese are facing acute food insecurity. That's not just a number, that's a tragedy. It's like Burhan looked at his country and thought, you know what would make this better? Less food and more chemical weapons. But don't worry, my friends. The international community is on it. They've got their secret weapon. Executive Order 14,098. It's like a stern finger wagging, but with legal jargon. I'm sure Burhan is shaking in his boots. Or maybe that's just the effects of the chlorine gas. In all seriousness though, this situation is a stark reminder of the fragility of peace and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. It's a sobering thought that while we sit here, millions are suffering under the weight of a conflict they never asked for. And let's not forget the environmental impact, because apparently destroying human lives wasn't enough. They had to go and poison the land too. So what's next in this geopolitical soap opera? Will Burhan see the error of his ways? Will the sanctions actually make a difference? Or will we be back here next week, reporting on yet another atrocity? Only time will tell, my friends. But one thing's for sure, in the game of international politics, the only real losers are the innocent civilians caught in the crossfire. And on that cheerful note, I'll leave you with this thought. In a world where leaders can use chemical weapons with impunity, maybe it's time we all took a good, hard look at what we're willing to tolerate. Because if we don't draw the line at chemical weapons, where do we draw it? At the complete annihilation of a country? Oh wait, we're already there. That's all for meow. I'm Ron de Parmesan reporting for News Cats.